All right, everybody, we're carrying on working through the artists' bots on chess.com, and we're coming to everyone's favourite turtle, well, certainly my favourite turtle, Raphael. Consider the Prince of Painters and seeks a new apprentice in his workshop. Do you have what it takes to impress? Well, what the hell's that got to do with chess? Honestly, the novelty bots, chess.com just seems absolutely addicted to these, and blow me down if you haven't played in English. Okay. Right. So I'm going to go for like a King's Indian setup. Okay, it's not pushing the e-pawn, so I don't need to move my d-pawn yet. And, alright, so this is all very, very normal stuff. We had an Italian yesterday against, was it Donatello? Alright, so we have castle. This has been seen a million times. Okay, so King's Indian attack setup with the English pawn out there. Okay, so I'm not feeling like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed today. Definitely a late night last night and not enough sleep. So I'm going to have to take this, I'm going to have to rely on principles as much as possible within my limited ability. Okay, so black hasn't committed anything in the centre. I can't push e5, that's out of the question. d5, I lose a pawn, get a queen in the centre, lined up with a fianchettoed bishop. There's no point in that at all. I don't see any value in this. I think the moment I move this, then Raf can move his knight, and my rook is under fire. I haven't got time to put my bishop there because bishop takes bishop, then bishop takes rook. Right, so I'd end up having to push c6. So is that going to be good for me? I don't know. So I'm thinking maybe just d6, e5. Yeah, bring my knight out. So this bot's supposedly 1250 now. So we can expect a fight. Okay, now comes d4. Again, so the King's Indian Defense Fianchetto Yugoslav Pano system, apparently. Whatever all that means. If there, he's got two attackers. So my knight could come to here, but my problem right now is my light squared bishop. What am I going to do with it? I think the answer is nothing. If you, particularly with bishops, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're like, what am I going to do with you? Then very often the right thing to do is something else. Right? Until you find a good place for your bishop to go, sure, it's fine. So I'm thinking knight bd7 is like a waiting move. I'm just basically trying to concentrate on doing nothing wrong at this point. Okay, knight now undevelops to e1. Not necessarily a bad thing. However, of course, the rook is completely blocked in. I'm thinking rook e1 myself might end up with my knight coming back to f8 as well, interestingly. Knight f8 can't be made, of course. Okay, now I can strike for e5. Taketh, knight takes, or pawn. I don't see a big issue with that. c6 is some kind of thought, but then that, look, it's about the centre. Also, in terms of themes, I'm really trying to understand the next level of chess, which is beyond the tactics. And, hopefully I'm going to try not to blunder. I'm going to try really hard not to blunder. It's about the position. It's about improving the position, understanding this multitude of positional considerations, right? Quality of pieces, line of sight, control of the board, all of these things just combine to make this intricate, beautiful problem that changes with every move. And that's what I'm trying to get my head into. Really enjoyed Levy's How to Win at Chess series. I'm gonna plow through the rest of that. So in terms of position, what can we say? Well, white has grabbed a big center. White has control with pawns over these squares in my half of the board. Okay, fair enough. Because I'm playing like a hypermodern style, I'm going to strike for the centre later. So e5 here. Okay, sorry. I'm getting drawn into calculation already. This bishop, the idea is that this bishop is going to be a monster. Same thing for white, by the way. Now, white's bishop controls the light-coloured squares. My bishop controls the dark-coloured squares. What does that mean? I don't know yet. This knight being on a light square also controls some dark squares, for example. What about, I mean, c5 might even be a thought. c5 pushes, or, this is the question, is it time for e5? Is it time to challenge the centre before white is properly developed? I mean, he's still got a bit of an awkward bishop there. That bishop would probably like to come to b2, I would imagine. Being on the dark squares, now that I've opened up. Well, it's not opened up, but with the move g6, it makes this diagonal just a potential seam of gold, you know? Do I want to close down that diagonal? No, not really. Would I like to maybe shift my knight out of the way to de-encourage these ideas? Yes, very possibly. So moving this knight ain't such a bad idea. Let's say knight takes. Could that be useful? I don't know. I really am taking baby steps here, trying to understand the next level. This knight could still come here. So let's play e5. I feel like it's time. You know, I'm castled, he's castled. Neither of us is... And this is really a tempo losing move. 2 moves ago, he moved his knight to e1, and now he's just moved it back. This allows me to play e4. As a general rule, you never really want to develop a minor piece in the path of an oncoming pawn. So is e4 good here? Or am I overextending? Because I'm putting it into the path of his fianchettoed bishop. At the same time, you might argue that I'm blocking his fianchettoed bishop, which might even give me time to play b6, bishop b7, and fianchetto a bishop of my own on that diagonal. So here, it's rummy right now. It's well defended. It's got a rook behind it. It's got a knight behind it. This wins another tempo. So he's already this knight has gone there, there, and there again. 4 moves, and how far has he got? That. How far has he got up the board? Zilcho. I kind of like this move still. I know it looks kind of awkward. Knight b6 is a thought. It's attacking this pawn, but the pawn is defended by the awkward knight on the rim. I kind of like this idea, just generally making room for my bishop, but also b6, bishop b7. Now, what if he does this? Well, I can challenge with c6. C6 is also a thought, you know, preventing this knight from coming forward. This is defended by the queen only. This is defended by the knight only. So we're going to colour those in orange. This is defended only once as well, as is this, as is the knight, of course. So all kinds of, you know, this pawn's defended only by the queen, as it happens. This is defended twice. This is defended twice. This is defended only by the king. You know? Right, so what do we do? I have a sip of coffee. I'm playing a bot, doesn't matter, I can take it. As long as I like. I'm developing new muscles here. Positional muscles that I've never used before. Thinking of Neo in The Matrix. What did you say? My eyes hurt or something like that? Yeah. Why do my eyes hurt? You've never used them before. Okay. Let's think about the move d5. Opponent captures towards the centre, knight takes, removes the defender of this. Can't see any argument for it. Let's think about b6 as a plan. I'm going to play that. Also allows my bishop to come to a6 if it wants to. Remember, this pawn's only defended the once. Now this move I don't really like a lot. I mean, sometimes you can pair that with king h2. I've been seeing that a lot recently. But I think bishop b7. Let's just add more defence to my nice advanced pawn. And say to white, what have you got, blood? Now, c6, d5. If d5 now, again, he can just take towards the centre. You might argue that I improved my knight. Because this pawn here, I don't know. c6. Could also move my knight here. I'm kind of transfixed on that idea. I mean, this knight could do all kinds of things. Is that good? I can't really make a case for it right now. Not right now. I mean, it might be a good move later on. It might not. Don't get ideas glued into your head, right? They're sticky notes, right? They've got very semi-adhesive properties. You know, you can have an idea, stick it on your head, and then peel it off later and go, that don't work anymore. Okay. Pawn c6. I just like this. I like this approach. Well, what's that about? Okay, you're attacking my pawn. Yes, it's undefended. Got it. Right, now I'm going to just put my knight there and defend it with the queen. Okay, I have knight e6 now. I don't think you want to allow me to take that bishop. No, indeed. Now then. The move d5 is screaming for consideration. Put it that way. There, if he takes, and look who's got a big centre. There he pushes. Just take. Yeah, I'm just... Raphael, what is this about? This is a no-brainer for me, I think. Right? It's a kind of an awkward knight. Doesn't really have a natural home. And the only defender of this bishop is Gary the G-pawn. So I'm going to peel open that king. Now my bishop really doesn't... Probably... I don't know. I was about to say this bishop has no future whatsoever on this long diagonal. But... it ain't necessarily so. I mean, because we could have takes. Right, then my bishop is defending the rearmost pawn. I've got a pawn here, which at some point might move and open up some kind of threat. I could stick my queen on c6, you know, to pair up with the bishop at some point in time. So you might be tempted to move this bishop here or here, which is the only two squares it could go to. But here, yeah, they take and trade off. What's my bishop doing? Yeah, kind of pinning this pawn. There's an argument for that. Yeah. Here, it can't go there really. It can't go there really. If it goes here, it's just making itself a tall pawn, joining the pawn chain. So I think probably the bishop can hang. That's fine. So I am looking at this move knight h5. Targets this now weak pawn. Now he might push this, in which case then there's an argument for bishop a6 maybe. Pinning this pawn here. Because the rook will be undefended. So what else can he do if I do this? What you don't want to do in chess, well, if you want to get into the from the beginner to the intermediate range is just go, I'm going to make a move and see what happens. Because you can, to some degree, figure out in advance, which is a blessing, what your opponent might do. So what is my opponent's best move if I play this? Well, I'm attacking that. What can defend? Queen can defend. The knight can't go there. All this, and I don't know, I just feel like this is now a weakness. These double pawns, this is definitely a weakness, this whole file here. And look, so now he's pushed that. So now, maybe bishop a6, right? This pawn itself is undefended. The bishop, as things stand, is just looking at a row of its own, foot soldiers' heads. But if bishop here, I'm imagining b3 will come, just defending this pawn. But then I can take. Rook's trapped. Knight can't block. Queen can't block. That, my friends, is enough. Okay, and I'm going to take here. Yes, I've undefended this. Oh, hello. Hello there. But I can just push the pawn, isn't it? Push the pawn. Knight tries to block, or in fact bishop takes. Yeah, push the pawn, he's got this. Takey, takey, takey. Takey. What the, huh? Okay, well, this is my first thought, right? Never snatch at your first thought. I'm 2 pawns up already. And Raph is doing a very good impression of somebody whose position is just collapsing. Take the pawn. If rook takes, or it doesn't matter what he does, that rook is mine. Got one attacker, one defender. Bye-bye rook. And now, right, any time there's a flurry of things and there's limbs flying around all over the place and pools of blood, most important thing to do is stop. So, in place of guessing at moves, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the whole board now, because I'm a bear of very little brain, right? And I'm not on top 4. I'm not firing on all cylinders. I'm very much in eco mode this morning. I'm going to make myself. I'm going to have a cheat day today, by the way. I'm going to go and get maybe some croissants for my breakfast, and I'm going to make myself a full English for my lunch. So bacon, eggs, toast. I'm going to cheat on the carbs. Maybe some black pudding. Ooh, homemade bacon too, lush. All right. So, and he's just moved his king here for some point. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take stock of the board. Okay, so first I'm going to start with material. Right, we are currently up an exchange and 2 pawns. The exchange meaning I traded my bishop, didn't I, for a rook. So I've traded a minor piece, bishop or knight, for a rook. It's known as the exchange. I'm up an exchange and 2 pawns. Okay, now, let's look at pawn structure. I've got, in theory, a 4 and a 3, but these two are rather overextended, right? Now, the move f5 looks rather natural, particularly seeing as Laughing Boy here has only got a light squared bishop, so it's going to incarcerate that bishop for the time being. This pawn here, it has to be said, is undefended. So I might have ideas about... Oh, wait, no, it's not. Hello. Happy days. However, if my knight should come via here, it will undefend it. However, it's not attacked. Okay. So this is defended. This is defended. This is defended. This is defended. Cool. Everybody be cool. The move queen d7 might tickle the rook. I like the move f5 here. Okay, but we haven't finished, have we? Right? defended. So we're just goldfish on our opponent's side of the board. Right, rook is undefended. So it does, makes me think about attacking the rook, but then the question is, right, if I attack the rook, am I going to encourage it to improve itself? Well, look, for example, 2 attackers, right? So if I just grabbed and snatched at this move, saying, "Hey rook, I'm attacking you," right? Aren't I cool? Yeah, no, but actually, you could have that, for example, or you could prompt the knight to move with a discovered defense by the queen, right? Now I don't know where the knight's going to move to, but it has options. It could move through these squares. Okay, so I'm going to play the move f5. And the reason is, I want to defend that pawn again, okay? So now, in comes the knight, right? No great surprises here. Is he coming in there? To put 2 attacks on a7, for example. And hit the queen at the same time. Now, if he does this, I can play queen d7, which actually pins the knight on that square and defends the a7 pawn. He's also defending this. If I played a5, I might just prompt him to dive in here, but then he's not attacking the pawn, he's only attacking the queen. And then queen d7, the knight is pinned, the pawn defends the knight. Yeah? So who benefits there? Also notice, by the way, I submit, for consideration of the court, we have a passed pawn. Right? And I know there's one gentleman sitting at home, sitting maybe at work in Norway, going, "Dude, you've got a passed pawn." I know I've got a passed pawn. So, pawn a5 kind of releases my rook from being the sole guardian of the rearmost pawn of my queenside chain, right? Queen c7 does a similar thing, but the queen, Naroditsky says, or is it Levy? I can't remember now. Okay, so I've watched so many videos. I think it's Naroditsky says the queen is a very bad defender because she's so valuable. She can be easily moved along, right? So I'm seriously thinking about this move here, which leaves this pawn, yes, defended by the queen. And should the knight come in, I think queen d7 is fine. So I'm liking my position. The only thing I'm not liking really right now is this knight. Okay, and I think queen d7 here. Right, this pawn is still pinned because the queen's undefended. This knight is pinned because I'm also attacking the rook. Now he can move with check, but what's he going to gain from that? Bugger all. He just loses a knight. Okay, and off goes the rook, you see. Now, the queen is still undefended. Therefore, this pawn is pinned. Therefore, this pawn is not attacking this knight. Therefore, I'm thinking, how can we attack the knight? Right, because it's technically undefended. Now, I can't capture it with my queen because after that, I can't take his queen, isn't it? So, and this doesn't make sense because knight takes rook. But I could do this. Rook a c8, attack the knight, threaten just to take the knight, pawn can't take because queen falls. Right, from a positional perspective as well, I'm liking this pawn. I don't see a massive reason to push it because right now it's defended and here it would be attacked 3 times and not defended. So, hold fire on that. I would like to improve the prospects of this horse. And moving him here does put a second attacker on this pawn. It temporarily undefends this pawn, but again, that's fine because the pawn is not attacked. Happy days. Right, so we have a couple of candidate moves to consider. Rook a c8. Let's consider this, okay? Here. If the knight goes there, I have got bishop takes. breaks his pawns. Yeah, I don't know, but so here, knight here. I like the idea of putting my rook behind the passed pawn as well. I think that's just really good. I just need to calc this out in it. There, I could just push the queen. It's not a bad little outpost for the knight. How important is my bishop? Are we in love with this bishop? Because if I have rook on c8, and honestly, the bishop's defense of this pawn is a very short-term consideration. Yes, it's doing a grand job right now, but the moment this pawn moves, the bishop's out of the picture. It's not going to come here and defend the promotion square. So, rook ac8, knight e5, hitting the queen. I take, pawn takes. This pawn is then attacked by queen, defended by queen. But this pawn is now on its way. So, I'm happy with that. I don't feel the need to improve this knight just yet. And now I can just execute my tactic. I take, you can't take the rook because I win the queen. And like many folks say, the tactical opportunities come from the position. Right, and now we're up many materials. I'm thinking this rook could come to d8 at some point and help me win this pawn, which now cannot be defended by any other pawn because these guys are blocked. Right, these files are closed. All right, so I'm thinking now. Yeah, Charlie is my star piece, my star pawn, my pawn star. Charlie the pawn star. The rook's the only defender of this. Yes, my rook is under attack right now. Is this under attack? No. So, I mean, I could just play this, leaving Charlie defended by this, and then actually, could this rook come across to c8? You know? Be a bit flexible. Flexibility. I like that. I like the fact that this rook continues to defend Barry on b6. Right, okay. Two attackers. But defender number one is still my glorious bishop friend. And I can also just take this pawn. He's got two attackers on here. And I'm going to make the case that neither capture makes sense because he's going to lose material. You win a pawn for the sake and a bishop for a rook. Not good. Not good at all, my love. So I could just grab this. You know? I could play this, but this is not a necessary move, right? Because the pawn's not really threatened. So I'm going to have me this pawn. Yes, I have also undefended this guy, right? And now, boom. Surely temple. I undefend this. It's defended by pawn. What am I talking about? This is a skewer. More important piece in front of a less important piece. I'm attacking both in line. Here, I'm +8 materials. I'm just going to trade ski. I mean, not even. Oh, checkity-doo-dah, missed it. Checkity-doo-dah, checkity-day. This is also a threat, by the way. Here. Okay, I think I'll just move my king. And now I'm just going to trade off. Alright, again, it's down to Charlie the pawn star. This is even a thought. Defends Charlie, hits queen. Right, so this is very often the point in the game where I just go, oh, I'm tired of thinking now, you know, I'm gonna stop calculating and just push wood. But we're practicing being grown-ups, right? Let's play mummies and daddies. Okay, So rook c8 behind the passed pawn. However, the pawn has to go through a square that is under the control of the evil knight. Not the end of the world. I mean, I can use my queen and my rook together. I can push this forward. He can't take because he's just going to lose a knight. So that is just kind of very simple. But my queen on the c-file, rook on the c-file, Charlie the pawn star moves ahead and wins. Yeah? Or is this more forcing? I'm attacking the queen. I'm forking the knight. Yes. I'm going, and also then it means that if queen takes, oh, hello. Missed that. I was saying if queen takes queen, the pawn will go here, and it's no longer in the line of sight of the knight. Oh, what a night. Okay, now, it has to be said, this knight is currently pinned. So if the knight moves, the queen falls. Unless the knight comes here to defend the queen, but that loses the knight. So the knight is pinned. He's got a big problem, okay? Also, the queen must defend the knight. The knight is under attack by my queen and defended only by white's queen. The queen is attacking this pawn. But I'm thinking I can push this pawn up because the queen can't take because it hangs the knight. You know what I mean? And what's that bishop doing? So I can carry on with my plan. I've got to be careful about back rank stuff, of course. Okay. Can't do this and pin the knight. But we are now in an utterly crushing position, winning the game by sheer force of think. Look at this. Look at this wedge of pawnage I've got going off. And this bishop has made one move in the entire game and is just sitting there crocheting in the corner. But it's fine. You know, it's done an important job. It is protecting Charlie the pawn star. So now I'm thinking, well, what's not involved in this? There may be tactics, like pushing the pawn, but then the queen can't just take. Yeah. If I push this, the queen can't take there because it drops the knight, as is previously discussed. So a4, b3, even c2 might be an idea. Or I could just think about bringing in the rest of my forces. Well, where's this knight going to aim for? He'd love to go to this square. He would love nothing better than to drop himself in there. The problem is, how does he get in there? Because these dark squared pawns, this is a problem. Knights can't penetrate this diamond setup. So in an endgame, excuse me, if you ever got your king in a diamond like that, when your opponent only has a knight, you're pretty darn safe. Because he can't come to any of these squares if you've got pawns on those squares. But that's beside the point. The question before the court is, should this knight try and improve its situation? I am +8 materials. Right? I've got, an extra rook and 3 extra pawns. So I don't necessarily need the knight in order to win the game. Right? If my knight was just dropped on the floor, then I'd still be +5 materials. Yeah. Right? Now, bishop blocks that, because otherwise there's ideas like rook d8, queen d1, check, forking queen and king, happy. But I'm thinking this is probably just winning. a4. Has he got knight takes there though? Okay, right, okay, you've convinced me. So I'm going to improve my knight. I might bring it to here, where it defends this, to support this, to support that, to support that. However, this pawn is now pinned. This move now makes sense. I've got that. Knight takes. No, queen can't take back. Ha! But we improve the knight anyway. When I say improve, it's not fantastic. Okay. Raph attacks my rook. The very natural move is rook d8, put it on the open file. I do have a check here, but then knight just takes knight. Yeah, I think this move has everything going. I can't come up with one reason not to play that. Okay, you hit my knight. Well, it is somewhat defended, it has to be said. Right, the queen must defend the knight. This bishop is undefended. Am I concerned about that? Not in the slightest. Okay. However, again, I do need to be cognizant of back rank issues. So let's say he takes, if my rook takes. So let's say I push this. Oh, he's also defending that with the bishop, actually. Yeah, I've just got to be, like Levy says, it's never too late to do something stupid. So this is our objective. I could, for example, push h6 or h5 and just tuck the king away. I'm going to do that, you know. I'm going to do that. He's got a light squared bishop. I'm going to put my king there. Okay, what's that? What's that doing? Nothing. So now I could push this, right? If queen takes, I can take the knight. My rook still guards the back rank. It can go here. We can do that, right? I push attack the knight. That doesn't work. But I do have now a4. a4, b3. Don't I? I've also got actually this. What about this? Their check. Pawn takes. Queen takes. Trading off my knight. What is currently under attack. For two nice juicy sweet prawns. In garlic butter? I don't know. I don't know. I'm coming back to this idea as being a better idea than the previous one. I know it's a very slow game, this one. But humour me. Right, a4. Queen takes, you just lose the knight and the game. Because I've just got too much stuff around here. My knight can come back in defence, my rook can come in defence, my king can dodge out the way. Here I'm threatening that. Knight moves out the way. It's just like 3 passed pawns. Come on. 3 connected passed pawns. Okay. I'm going to trade off. I have enough stuff here for defensive duties. And what are you going to do about this? Also, by the way, with this, our queens are facing off. So we might end up with a trade of queens. Also, the promotion square for this pawn is dark, and he only has a light squared bishop, and the king's too far away to save it. Does he have a single check? Yeah, but no. No, but yeah, but no. Because anyway, I've got the passed pawn, and there's nothing he can do to stop that. Now, the simple idea is to battery this thing, but let's get some more queens if we can. He has to go here now, but that doesn't work. Right. And we've earned ourselves. Let's just defend the pawn. Sod it. Okay. Can't go here, can't go here. Therefore, that is mate. That's mate in 2. Here, he has to go here, and it's not mate. He has a bishop, which means there's no stalemate on the cards. Okay, he has a illegal pawn move, that's fine. And now this is checkmate, yes? Yes. Boom. Job done. Right? Now, I know we took a painfully long time over that game, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was worth it. Right, what we're going to do now is I'm going to put it in the analysis board and see how well we did. Okay, here we have it in the analysis board, including all of Raphael's trash talk, which I've ignored for the entire game. Okay, I'm looking for 80, yeah, I'm going to say, felt like 80%, 86.2. So this bot is meant to be about 1250, okay? Place your bets, boys and girls. So 78% accuracy, I think, correlates with more like 1400, to be honest. 1600 from Raph and 1950 from yours truly. I thank you. Not a single blunder, not a single miss. Uno mistake, which was B6. So here I'm just better, and I decided that I was thinking of fianchettoing this bishop or putting it on A6, and there was a much better idea. Okay, it's a full pawn difference, right? But this is kind of jostling backwards and forwards. But that was it. That was the only mistake in the whole game. So why is this a positional mistake? Answers on a postcard, please, guys. Help me to understand this. Okay, B6 is a mistake because show moves. The knight comes into my position. And I drop a pawn. So here, it's saying the reason for C6 is it stops the knight from coming into my position. That's what I'm guessing. And this is a common idea, when you've got a knight like here, in various openings, pushing this c-pawn stops the knight's immediate advance. Okay, but how about that, right? So I'm feeling groggy. I've had 6 hours sleep, not fantastic. But using the power of keeping it cool, slowing down, thinking stuff through. I've just played a 1950 game. Bosh. And you can do the same. That's the point. That's the whole point of what we're doing here, is to inspire you to play chess above the level that you're playing it right now. And the secret to it, well, at least for somebody like me, who's maybe old and slow and losing his stuff in it up there, or has had one too many last night, the secret is to think more. Slow it down, slow it right down, do more thinking, put more thinking behind each move, and you'll find better moves. And also this kind of idea of just emotionally detaching from your own ideas, right? You've got to just unplug the whole ego from that. Say, oh, I'm fixed on this idea of, maybe I want to fianchetto this bishop, therefore b6, I really want to play that, and, but then using pure Spock-like reason, you have to be able to justify that to yourself, not based on emotions. It's like they say in sales and marketing, that people choose to buy based on emotions and then rationalize it to justify the emotional decision that they've actually already made. Right? We don't want to be doing that in chess. We want to base it on hard logic, right? For the majority of the time, emotions have their place, but on the whole, they have to come secondary to hard think, right? And anyway, with that, I need some breakfast, okay? But I'm a very, very happy bear right now. So thank you. If you've made it all the way through this video without falling asleep, well done. But I'm loving this. I'm loving this. It feels like a new dimension of chess is opening up right now. And I keep doing, when I focus like this, I'm getting these 1900, 2000, 2100 games. And that is showing me that this is possible for yours truly. So, cool. All good. Thank you for watching, everybody. See you later.